Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something you might not think about, the massive, often invisible economy that's built around a single disease. We're going to follow the money, and it all kicks off with one pretty shocking number. $1.4 million. That's what the research tells us is the estimated lifetime cost to care for just one person with ALS. It's a number that's kind of hard to even wrap your head around. So you have to ask, right, where does all that money actually go? And spoiler alert, it's not just about medicine or doctor's visits. It's this whole complex ecosystem of technology, specialized equipment, and human support. So let's dig in. Okay, first, let's get on the same page real quick. ALS is a disease that progressively attacks the nerve cells that control your voluntary muscles. This gradual loss of control creates a whole series of escalating needs, and you guessed it, every single one of those needs has a price tag. So where does the spending start? Well, our first stop is mobility. As the disease takes its course and a person loses physical ground, a really sophisticated market for high-tech tools emerges to help them get some of that independence back. You know, for someone with ALS, the journey is often defined by the loss of mobility. We're not just talking about walking. It's about every single movement. And that, of course, creates a huge demand for what the industry calls durable medical equipment, or DME. And let's be clear, we're not talking about your standard issue wheelchair. No way. These are basically custom-built personal mobility vehicles. Companies like Permobil, Invacare, and NewMotion engineer these incredible chairs that can tilt, recline, and even sync up with smart home devices. All of it tailored to a person's specific needs as the disease progresses. And as you can imagine, that level of customization, it's not cheap. A high-end, fully kitted out power wheelchair can run you up to $40,000. Just one piece of equipment, and it's already a huge chunk of that $1.4 million total. Which brings us to the big question, right? A single chair costs as much as a brand new car. So, who's footing the bill? Well, if you look at the breakdown, insurance is doing most of the heavy lifting, covering about 80%. But that leaves a pretty significant gap, a heavy financial burden that falls squarely on patients and their families, with charities and nonprofits stepping in to fill a crucial role. But mobility is really just the beginning of the story. As ALS advances, the economic focus shifts to the most fundamental things we do, breathing and speaking. And this is where the technology becomes, quite literally, a lifeline. The reality is, for many people with ALS, respiratory failure is the single biggest threat. The technology that supports breathing isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And it's a huge economic driver, making up over $200,000 of that total lifetime cost. And you can really see the innovation happening in this space. I mean, you've got companies like Ventec creating a 5-in-1 device that combines a ventilator, oxygen, a cough assist machine, all in one box. Then you have Philips and ResMed building in remote monitoring so doctors can tweak settings from miles away. This tech saves lives, no question, but it also powers a major industry. Now, beyond breathing, there's another profound loss. Just imagine not being able to speak. For up to 95% of people with ALS, this becomes a devastating reality, and it's another challenge that technology has rushed to solve. The solution is this incredible technology called AAC. Companies like Tobii Dynavox are the leaders here. Their devices use eye tracking, literally letting people communicate, browse the web, and control their environment just by using their eyes. It's life-changing, and it comes with a price tag of up to $15,000 per device. Okay, so far, we've talked a lot about hardware, machines and gadgets, but the single biggest cost driver in ALS care isn't a machine at all. It's people. This is what you could call the invisible economy of human support. In the later stages of the disease, a person can need round-the-clock care. We're talking 16, maybe even 24 hours a day. And that intense level of need creates an absolutely enormous market for professional caregivers. The scale of this cost is just mind-blowing. With major national providers like Home Instead or Visiting Angels, full-time care can easily top $80,000 a year. That single expense, year after year, often becomes the largest one for families by far. And the spending doesn't stop there. On top of the daily care, families get hit with this wave of huge one-time expenses. Things like retrofitting a home with ramps and wider doorways, or buying a wheelchair-accessible van, which can cost more than the car it's replacing. It all adds up fast. Okay, so we've been looking at the costs for just one person. Now it's time to zoom out and look at the big picture, a global multi-billion-dollar economy built entirely around this one disease. Think about it. Every wheelchair, every ventilator, every single hour of care we've just talked about, when you multiply that by the tens of thousands of people living with ALS around the world, you get a massive and rapidly growing global market. And check this out, just one slice of that market, assistive technology, was worth $1.2 billion dollars in 2023. By 2032, it's projected to more than double to $2.7 billion. That's a compound annual growth rate of over 9%. That's not just growth, that's an explosion. So what's fueling all this? Well, it's basically a perfect storm. You've got an aging global population, an increase in chronic conditions like ALS, and you're combining that with constant technological advancements that are more effective, but also more expensive. It's a market that is set to expand for a long, long time. So when you put it all together, what you have is this intricate, high-cost ecosystem. And at its very core, it's profound human necessity that's fueling both incredible innovation and, at the same time, a powerful, multi-billion-dollar global industry. And that leaves us with a final and really critical question. In a market where the demand is driven by absolute necessity, by the need to breathe, to move, to speak, how do we, as a society, strike the right balance? How do we reward innovation and profit while also making sure that every single person who needs these life-sustaining tools can actually get them and afford them?